Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason, and welcome and Merry New Year, Happy New Year. Yeah, start of the year. This is the first podcast of the year, and I'm joined with Carl McSorley. He was there. Oh, there he goes. And the one and only Paul Ray. And today we are doing Jurassic Park. Okay, and now we're officially in lockdown 3. So yeah, this is one of many, I'll imagine. Are you guys ready to press play? Who's got the interference? There you go. Not me.
Well, I mean, I'm next to me computer, might be that, but...
So I'm pressing play. Are you ready to press play?
Ready.
So 3, 2, 1, boop. It's a universal one, so yes, it has to slide off to the screen and stuff. So I've seen this at the pictures 7 times. How about you guys?
Wow. For me, it's 5, I think. Yeah,
Ooh.
5.
6 of them are from back in the day, but I went to see it with Jack a couple of years ago for the anniversary with a live orchestra. So that was impressive. Like.
Well, I want to say it. Obviously, I've seen it. I believe it was twice when it first came out, and then me and my brother went to see it when they released the 3D edition. Which, to be honest with you, I need to mention how good that is. Like 3D is such a gimmick, and it's a love-hate relationship I've got with it. But when we watched that on the big screen in 3D, you would actually think that was a 3D made film. And then a couple of times after that, they've been shown them for like anniversary and things like that.
Can I just mention one thing? The score is amazing. John Williams.
Oh, I mean, it's iconic. You know, it's like you hear that theme tune immediately. I don't even matter if you're a film fan, you're gonna know what that's from.
It's just a bum 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 bum. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, again, I went to see this in the summer of 1993. I think the same year as Dennis the Menace came out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this destroyed the box office. Like, I mean, Steven Spielberg this year made this and Schindler's List, and he won the Academy Award. If he didn't win the Academy Award for this, he won it for Schindler's List. He just destroyed the 90s. I mean, it must have been a hard year. But obviously, this Steven Spielberg actually cameos in the second in the film. He is just there at the gates, the beard. The book's amazing compared to the film, and we'll talk about that. But this film, for its time, I mean, this is the one that changed the game, especially because this was going to be stop animation, and they decided to go for CGI, and it was again risky, but it's just done with no spare no expense on this.
But they did it right though, didn't they? Because like CGI still to this day, 2020. It's about using real things and then incorporating it with the CGI. Whereas I feel like the biggest problem I have these days is when they go full on CGI, and that's what doesn't work for me. So with this, you know there's a lot of animatronics, you know there's a lot of realism going on, and still to this day beats any CGI film I've seen in a while.
Do you think this would have been a 12 if it was like came out later on? Because 12 hadn't really came along yet.
Yeah, I think it would be.
I would think so, definitely. There's not really much else in it that I can imagine. None of the...
I think goring if it was a 12 now, wouldn't it? Like, obviously, new films. But for me, this, like, it's probably in my top 20 films of all time. It's like, about 20 films, this would be the top 20.
Oh, yeah, this is...
I think it could make my top 10, like...
No.
I would love to see an extended cut, because I do think there's a few things, like, missing in bits and bobs. I mean... This here as well, it's just like introducing the raptor, and a lot of people think in Jurassic Park, the T-Rex, the raptor. I mean, the problem is that the raptors are identical, but again, this raptor coming in here. I mean, I didn't know what a fucking raptor was when I seen Jurassic Park for the first time. I knew what a T-Rex was, but you know what I mean. These really made raptors, yeah.
Shoot! I love it. There's so many clips in this film, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing, like. Yeah, it's one of those films like. I remember when it came out of pictures, and obviously it was like a year before it came with VHS, and I put a pre-order in for the widescreen version of Blockbusters. I could not wait for this film, and I think I watched it like every day when it came with VHS.
I'm sure we've just seen this guy here in something else recently. I can't remember what it was now.
I was thinking it's a big
know it is? He's not him, but he always reminds me of Frodo from The Godfather. Every time I see his face, it's just like, because it's like such a unique face. But and yes, it is very 90s with the suit slightly too big. That was
That's awesome, man. I gotta say, I'm watching this. Obviously, I paid for it on stinky Amazon, like, because it only $1.89, so I paid for it anyway. But I remember when I had the Blu-ray version of it, the quality it didn't do a really good job of transferring it. I mean, it looks alright, but for one of like their great properties like Jaws, it could have did a better transfer. I always think of that.
I'm watching it on Blu-ray.
I'm on Blu-ray as well, but didn't Spielberg was side by side with the Jaws one, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like a lot of do it for studio one.
I would like to see them give that. Although there's not really up to this very moment, there's not much complaint I've got for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I just know it could be better.
To be honest with you, what I'm surprised, I mean, don't get us wrong, I mean, again, it's well written. Like, obviously there is flaws in its design of like how they get the dinosaur DNA or whatever. But like, Spielberg had a bit of a nightmare the couple of years before with Hook. Hook's got a massive dark story never released, and Hook just seems to go. People forget Hook's a Steven Spielberg film, and that would have been the one that was just before this. So you know what I mean. Universal, working back with Universal, you know what I mean. Every time he seems to work with Universal, it seems to be golden. I think.
Definitely.
Now,
for me, Sam Neill is absolutely awesome in this film. Like, it's put him on the map for me, Sam Neill, because I never knew anything really about him until Jurassic Park.
Well, Sam Neill in the book, Alan Grant isn't really. He's got a big beard. He's a little bit different. I mean, all the characters in the book are a little bit different. I mean, Richard Hammond is an absolute twat in it. You know what I mean? He's a bit careless.
Yeah.
And he doesn't survive the book. He doesn't survive. There's a character completely missing from this as well. But again,
his scarf rug should be around his face now.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead. Oh my god, can I just say, there was a shop in the America Centre years ago. It used to be like a home cinema shop where Windows is now. Okay, and I remember one time as a kid walking past and I heard a massive roar. I was like, "What the heck was that?" And I knew straight away it was Jurassic Park, and it was a Laserdisc. And I had it hooked up to like a home cinema system, and it was like since then I always loved Laserdisc because of that. Because of the what I've heard and experienced. And I went in the shop and it was amazing quality. Obviously that was like what 1996, 97 when that came out.
I've got your Laserdiscs. I've got your Laserdiscs.
That's what I'm saying. It's pissing me off.
I remember.
Yeah, I just remember like.
I was just gonna say in the last lockdown, I remember being that smashed one night. It was pouring down outside. And I sort of like made myself a little bit of a tent, and I put on the ambience music from YouTube, and it's Jurassic Park, and you just hear the rain and the park and that. And I like, this is quite relaxing, you know. And then next thing you know, the T-Rex fucking roars, and I fucking shit myself.
So I used to like kind of see, probably I put on like rain noises on my phone, so when it's in bed, so I can listen to some rain. And I put a Jurassic Park one. I went, oh, this is nice. This. And as soon as you hear a T-Rex, I was like, oh my god. So I couldn't even use it at night time.
What do we think of this fan theory that the little kid here is Chris Pratt?
Nah. It's good though, but nah. This was like a assassin for turkey and that. Well, I don't know. I remember years ago, like I used to wear pants like Alan Grant and his blue top that I had during the film. That was like my wardrobe in the 90s.
Paul Ray's wardrobe.
No. That was just fucking the same old stuff. No, it's good. It's one of those things I always remember the speeches of this, you know what I mean? Yeah, Richard Breakfast, you know.
It's very quotable, yeah, it's very, very quotable. It gives a lot of detail, though, again, eyeing up the raptors, or like his research, because paleontology, or like, and all that kinds of stuff, you know, it was a big thing in the 90s. I mean, look at Ross's character in Friends, and obviously the scientific breakthroughs, but like even like trying to mentally like work out like these things actually existed, and it's 65 million years ago, and how they're able to narrow that down, and you know what I mean, it just shows you how much we're digging into the world, and you know, like there's gonna be an out left of the world soon. You know, there's an out left to dig. Do you know what I mean? But then again, like Jurassic Park's one of them series where as soon as it came out, all the paleontologists were well, they're meant to have feathers. Or they're meant to sound like a fucking chicken, not a turkey. Or like they're meant to have different colours and all that. But then Jurassic Park sort of evolved. But that's what I think, like, I don't know if you guys agree with this. The raptors have never ever looked so vicious as they are in this one. These raptors like look like they're gonna. You would fucking be terrified of them. But like by the end of the third one, but again in the new series, like, don't worry, Blue to the rescue. Do you know what I mean? It's like what?
It's like one of those things where like the raptors are like Alan Grant's like enemy on there. I mean, because it was this one and the third one. They're like his like enemy is an expert in it. But this made dinosaurs cool again, didn't it? I mean, everything was all dinosaurs everywhere.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm still this day, mate. I mean, I still see kids constantly on the daily at work, constantly wearing dinosaur clothing. So like dinosaurs have always been there, but I feel like what the here was making.
Hello?
The door opens the wrong way. Hi, Carl. You all right there?
I'm still here.
Oh, cool. Did you do this speech at work about a kid? There were two raptors. Didn't know we're there. And then some ago when there's entrails go on the floor. Alan Grant just knocked over that bloody washing on the floor. I mean, this is drying and everything. Unbelievable.
Disrespectful.
Wishing that, man. Absolutely awesome.
As I say, if you look at that, Jurassic Park's got a history of faults. Again, the door opened the wrong way there as well. But again, like Richard Attenborough, you know what I mean. He had a very successful career, but in the book he's a bastard. You know what I mean. He meets his demise by the companies get him, the companies that aren't in this one. But aliens stole my face is written on the fridge. Can we have a look there?
Space aliens on my face, yeah. Okay,
see
bear with me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to jump out for 2 seconds.
He's not in yet, Paul. You can't be doing your Jeff Goldblum impressions when he hasn't appeared yet.
I know it. I guarantee it. Love it. Absolutely. And obviously, Laura Dern, I knew Laura Dern from Mask. You know, Rocky Dennis story with Eric Stoltz. She plays a blind girl.
Well, she was in Wild at Heart the year before as well.
Well, ITV though.
The one with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
But like,
I was thinking something else.
But like again, they didn't cast huge. He cast right, but he cast against what was in the books. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's a Spielberg touch because I to me personally, this is a sequel to Jaws. Because it's so outlandish, he goes, I'll do it. That's the only one who can do it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of those films, like, as soon as you see the Jurassic Park icon, the sign, that's it. I mean, I think we've gone back to the original sign again, haven't we, for a new film?
Yeah.
It kind of be Jurassic Park, you know what I mean?
But like, all the merchandise is inside it and stuff like that. There's all like the product placement, the logo. Everyone wanted like the toys and that when they came out, but then again they were so mass produced because I mean, why is there a fucking random cat on top there next to dinosaurs? It's so random in the background, just behind Laura Dern's head. There's just a cat. Hi, Carl. But yeah, I remember like there's dinosaurs that aren't in the movie that were cut out, or like for example, it's not meant to be a Triceratops that's on the floor. It's meant to be a Stegosaurus in the book. The video games, I mean, the video games were fucking mental. How you could be a raptor, but you could be Alan Grant. It's a fucking loads of stuff like.
Oh, yeah, I still couldn't get past the first level on that.
I remember the SNES game. You couldn't save it at all, and I played it for 6 hours straight, and it froze on the last level. I couldn't believe it. I never played it ever again after that.
Now this guy here who plays Dobson, he is actually a bit of a more of a character in the book, and actually in the second book as well, but again it's just written off.
Yeah.
He's such a dick, he didn't even close the door, did he, to the taxi? I just noticed that.
No, I'm afraid if you didn't use my name.
And again, the cast
this is an iconic scene, isn't it?
Reenactment, isn't it?
Again, casting really unknown. I mean, the guy who plays Dennis Nedry. I've only ever really seen him in the Punisher sequel, and I think he was successful on television and stuff like that. But again, he's
Good up from the sun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's how I knew him. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, that's a guy from Jurassic Park. Who never actually looked like his action figure, did he? He never looked like the action figure until now. Apparently, because they weren't casted, I think that's why I think Kenner or Mattel made them earlier.
Yeah, they draped them slightly off, didn't they?
Yeah, because they just said they had like a treatment for the film, and we're just making on these ones, yeah.
And I used to like the JP on all the Jurassic Park legs.
I never got here how he puts it on like food. He says like, you're not gonna fucking eat that. It's shaving foam. It's not like fucking milk. Dunk on top of it.
You know about this guy, the replica of the shaving foam is amazing, but it's so expensive, isn't it? It's amazing. It's just so expensive to buy.
Yeah. Well, you can buy a kind of decent replica of that shaving foam thing with the inners and that, but again, no different to the product. It's quite expensive. What it is.
Yeah. I'd rather just buy the can itself.
Yeah, just do it yourself.
Yeah. Don't get cheap on me. That was something to say.
Here's your mate. Mr. Jeff Goldblum has entered.
I was going to say, this is the type of role where you just know that Jeff Goldblum's character probably wasn't meant to be this iconic. But this is what, like, the actor does. Like, he's taken that role and made it his own.
Trying to pick up dinosaurs?
Well, if you probably take into it, Jeff Goldblum, I think, auditioned for Alan Grant. I think that's the initial thing. I mean, Jeff Goldblum had been around all the way through, like, he was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He was in, Fly, had been a big hit. Tall Man. Earth Girls Are Easy. Yeah, he had been, like, this really, like... Again, he's got a lot of dialogue to shift. But this, to me, is just, like, it made him iconic. But he dies in the book as well. He doesn't survive.
Wasn't Jim Carrey's post? Didn't Jim Carrey audition for the role?
Jim Carrey auditioned, yeah. But again, you think it's too far-fetched. I mean, Jim Carrey and Jeff Goldblum were in Earth Girls Are Easy as well.
Yeah. I can't say I've explained you. Like I said, I love Jeff Goldblum. I mean, when I had when the home cinema set up, I would always put this button, because the music and the picture quality was amazing. You know what I mean? Like a set up, like a demo. Mind you, the only thing that bugs me about this film is that when a camera tries to follow the helicopter, but it goes the wrong way. When it goes in between the things, you see it in a second. The guy's up to the same bit because apparently the helicopter guy had to fly so low. There's no one in there. You know what I mean? Because it's in Hawaii, something like that, isn't it? You have to fly really low. Yeah, it is there. The camera pans the wrong way and goes to the right a little bit. But I agree. I'm done.
You're done. But yes,
it's so smooth, isn't it? And then you kind of do it.
I mean, it's not. I don't exactly think that'll be a short trip as well. He should have had his seatbelt on before then.
But in all fairness, he obviously did have two of the wrong ends, didn't he? So everyone tried to help him, but he literally had two of the wrong ends, so two of the same ends, Chester.
I know, but like, how did she hook her seatbelt in? Do you know what I mean? It's there's some. Again, a lot of people go into that. Oh yeah, it's foreshadowing that it's two females and life finds its way, and you're like, fuck off, man. Reaching.
It's like going in the car, isn't it? And you put your seatbelt in the wrong holder, isn't it? So it's the kind of same thing. Now I've got to say, these are iconic Jeeps, and the Land Rover is so iconic. I mean, this in Ghostbusters Ecto 1 and DeLorean is in like the top movie cars for me, to be honest.
I like, like...
Probably one of those vehicles that probably cost twice as much these days because of what they are known for.
Definitely. Oh, awesome. Again, that's the first time you see the logo, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, it's a well-designed logo, yeah.
No, you saw it on the helmet at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
All the hard hats.
Goddamn India. Company trying to make weapons and stuff.
Now, we were planning on doing Waterworld as our first ever video, but obviously lockdown 3 has happened. So again, this will be a series of... we'll probably end up doing the first 3 Jurassic Parks at this rate because we're not sure how long we're going to be in lockdown. We were going to do Tremors today, but I want to absorb a bit more of the new Tremors box set before I sit down with these guys. But yeah, apologies in audio, but yeah, we're getting there.
Animal sensor tracking system.
You think they would have you know what I mean? I think they would have a road there, but no. And this is one of the most iconic shots. This was the most trailered fucking thing. This.
Yeah. I laugh because yes, it did come up a hill, but I mean, come on, they had to have seen them beforehand. I mean, it's only that they're like now 10 foot away from them that they've only just realised they're there. But guess what? I know it to tell them.
Yeah, it's just a movie.
I remember on TV that was cut when Jeff Goldblum squares on an ITV. It was always cut out. You know, it goes, "The crazy son of a bitch, you did it."
Yeah.
Again, though, because of how iconic this scene is, you don't realise that she's actually looking at the plants and going, right, not only did they bring dinosaurs back, and again, this goes into it more of the books, she's more concerned about the bringing the plants back and what new diseases they may bring, and like, again, it's that irresponsibility thing, but it's something that it's subliminally there in the background, but again, this is a popcorn movie, but you know, they touch a lot more on the book. But this, look at that, I mean, this still looks amazing, this... I'm going to
say it's very CGI, but at the same time, it's one of those things where, you know, for me, it's all about what the scene's selling. So, as a more modern reference, I know you haven't seen Mason, I don't dare say you probably will watch it in a hurry, but Paul, it was the same with the Mandalorian scene at the end of season 2. You know, for me, it was the CGI or the deepfake, if you want to call it. It's so blatantly obvious, but it's about the scene and how it resonates with what's going on that I feel like works.
I'm still surprised I haven't went back and redid it, but why would you? I mean, it still looks amazing to now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, it's like that George Lucas thing, why I keep retouching it every couple of years, because the more you do it, the more it loses what it actually represents. Like you say, we all know they're not real dinosaurs, but the fact of the matter is, when we were watching this originally, you may as well have just said, yes, Steven Spielberg has brought dinosaurs back to life.
He's going to make a film in this space, you know.
I mean, I've heard he's a canny director, like, he might make it to your mum movies along the way.
I can't believe you guys were on about fucking Richard Donner directing the new Lethal Weapon. He's 90-year-old. I wouldn't trust my gran to write as a note in 90-year-old.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
But like, he hasn't directed anything.
It's not going to be a name, though. It's all about name. That's all it'll be.
Aye, but he hasn't directed anything for 17 years, man. He hasn't done anything for 17 years.
Yeah, you'll get someone else to do it and then go, yes, I agree with it. There you go, put my name on it.
Really?
90-year-old kids aren't going to be able to stick around that long.
The sound design is amazing. Was it Ben Beck who did this, who did Star Wars sound design?
No, I'm not sure.
No, it's top of my head.
How do you do this? I'll show you. Again, you get a lot. I mean, the music changes. The music treats on really well. I mean, seeing this with the orchestra, you notice. I mean, I can't remember a bit where they didn't like play. There were always music cues in it. I love it as well. One of the nicest things about it is because it's not an up and running park. You know what I mean? The design, you know, they could have had a lot of fun with the design as well.
The infamous skeletons.
Living technology so advanced.
Imagine getting that part, guys, swooping floor.
You've been there for fucking hours.
All for that 2-second scene. But I suppose you can say it's him now, can't you?
Isn't this bit where like direct quote from like the Phil Tippett about was it out of job or something like that? I think out of the job because he's seen his CGI. I think that was like a Phil Tippett or something. said that when you see the animation goes, I have to go out of a job. Kind of thing.
Yeah. It's unheard. Again, was he going to be here the entire time? Like, you know what I mean? How many shows he, like, the owner, right? I'm going to be in this entire thing.
Yeah, everything the has to do it himself. Hello, John. Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Oh, yes. Hello, dear boy.
Hello, John.
I know there was a Jurassic Park ride, but it was nothing like this, was it?
No.
Like it should have been.
I've been on it.
It's a set for a Jurassic Park ride.
Yeah, it's like a log ride. Again, in the book, there's a raft sequence which they sort of, I think they kind of like took it in the end of Jurassic Park 3, but even like on the video games, while there's a raft thing, but you go around, you see the dinosaurs. It's kind of like Jaws, where like there's bits of the movie and they've got the dinosaurs coming up. Again, one of the biggest letdowns when I was on the ride is like the water level wasn't right, so you could see like the some of the dinosaurs like floating on water, and then you go in and it hits you all like the big smashes effects, and you like raptors are coming out and you're going up, and then just as you're about to go over for like an old fashioned log splunge, the T-Rex breaks through the wall and screams at you, and it's really close because you're going down this ride, but that's the
I've been on that, but they must have changed it because I mean I could probably still pull out the picture because I took a photograph as the T-Rex comes out. But it definitely wasn't Jurassic Park. It was just like dinosaur something. But mind you, it was 2002 when I was there, so I imagine it would have changed by that point.
As a kid, and this information how they did it was so much simple, wasn't it?
Well, that's it.
Talk about it.
I mean, this is where people don't realise how golden Spielberg is. You know what I mean? It's not just his design; it's his childish storytelling to get the information across. Because like, there's so much to put into this to go. All right, dinosaurs are alive, but you need to make it believable for when that T-Rex actually turns up. You're like, oh, they're fucked here because that's an actual T-Rex.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like a fucking. You know, like for years, like The Lost World, which again, it contradicts why the second film's called that, but like the original Lost World where there's that find the hole in the Aztec or the Amazon jungle, and there's like this lost world. Again, that's why Peter Jackson wanted to do a King Kong remake back in the time when there was less, like there's still places to be discovered, you know what I mean? Because unique take on it, you know what I mean? It's a unique take. Because the book's got a lot of scientific genre in it, because it's there's even graphs and shit like that, you know what I mean, and like within the book, and an amazing read. Like you read the Jurassic Park now, Jurassic Park book is like, if you hadn't read it before, I would recommend reading it, because it's like taking the first 3 films and making it's like remaking the first 3 films into one story on steroids, and it's class. It's dark. It's gruesome. You know what I mean? It's not made for kids, so again, it's worth doing. Like so. Dun dun dun.
This is quite. This has gone slightly more grainy now, mate. What's your take? I wonder.
I always say this because the podcast screen I do it on, it is really, really grainy.
It needs a brand new transfer.
It does. I've got the slimline edition on Blu-ray, which you could probably retail about $12.99. Carl's got the super deluxe fuck your face one, haven't you, Carl?
Oh, I mean that's the long term of it. Yeah, I call it the super duper cool T-Rex model version. Have you ever seen it before? I think so. I'm not quite sure, Paul, to be honest with you. It escaped me somehow, but I think he might put his house up in a couple of years for it, if I keep him going.
Now, Dr. Wu is a bad guy, isn't he? Obviously, in the newer films, which is weird because he seems like a funny guy.
I don't know if it's a bad guy. I would call him out. He's a scientist. It's beyond like kind of. You know, he's not in it for the passion, he's doing it for the money, he's doing it for the glory of saying that he's done it. So, but they've definitely portrayed him more as a villainous character in the new one, for sure.
I've got to say, the new ones don't hold a power on these ones. Like I always go back to the first three.
To be honest with you, if you would look at them in a line, I would say Jurassic Park, then Jurassic World for me, and then the other ones would fall in check because I love Jurassic World. I think it was just the right time and the right idea. And I got to see the pictures, so I to be honest with you, think Jurassic World is a defined sequel to this one. But then it goes on its own little mission, like.
Do apologise, guys. I'll be back 2 seconds.
Is that a hatching milk with the rubber and it hatches itself? Take it. This thing I thought it's amazing, isn't it?
Aye, you just can't. You couldn't do that with CGI. They're reacting to it. You know what I mean? That KY jelly just goes really well, like so.
Yeah. You said that before.
Carl's shouting at somebody in the background. Hey you! Be quiet! I am talking on this podcast. I did a podcast yesterday for Terminal Velocity, and then I thought, the postman's here. It was my bloody mother trying to shove something from my letterbox, and then it was the postman about 40 minutes later. So I had 2 interruptions.
So the music just turns weird because when he has it in its hand. Oh no, it's not to this, but yeah, like it's next few bits like quick.
See, what breed is this? Raptor. You bred raptors?
I'm back. Sorry, folks.
Was he late?
No. The Trilogy, my mum decided to make me tea. She's just like, you can't come in. I said, don't worry, I'll drop it off. I'm like,
You making me feel hungry?
It's classic because she'd made us gammon and chips, but because she didn't want to eat the egg, it's now gammon and chips wrapped up with like a raw egg in the middle that I've got to cook myself. Weird.
The whole life finds its way. I never realised that behind them's the sinister room where Nedry goes in later on. With all the I never realised that.
Who was though? I was too busy looking at the Velociraptor. I was like, is it real?
You bred raptors.
Thanks for while. Yeah, like the music and the where Dr. Grant's got the raptor that goes all dark on his face.
It's class. I mean, you just need to see Sam Neill in Event Horizon and go, that guy can be fucking sinister as fuck, like. Now, to me personally, like when you go out there, you feel like the cut away in like this little place here, and as a kid, everyone says, "Oh yeah, it eats the cow," and now you watch it and go, "Well, that's fucking harsh as fuck," like you know what I mean? But it's just a small little thing to keep them in, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen so many people trip up on the quiz question when it comes to Jurassic Park, because they'll always say, what animal did the T-Rex eat? And it's like, everyone always says cow, but it's a goat.
Sea bass in Chile, apparently.
Yes.
It's fucking brutal, that. Like. I mean, all it is people shaking.
Yeah, but as an adult, I'm sitting there going, the park obviously hasn't opened yet, you haven't getting the money for it yet, you haven't getting the insurance yet. Surely, as a smart businessman, let's get a few vegetarian animals first. Let's just play it easy. Let's not breed raptors. But
that's it. They're just running 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? It's again the whole corporateness. Never seen him in anything again. The Hunter.
Nah.
But he doesn't die in the book. He doesn't die.
Could he die, didn't he?
Well, I mean, we technically don't know if he died in the film. You didn't see it.
Fuck off, man. Do you don't see it?
Maybe they just played. Maybe he got a tickle on the belly and then suddenly the raptor became very submissive to him.
Nah, because Carl, when you watch this now, because I shit you not, when he gets killed, I'm sure that was cut out the original cinema, because when you watch it on Blu-ray now, you see the raptor biting his face and comes right over him, because all I remember the pictures were, you clever girl, and the nose pokes through, and then when you watch this version, the Velociraptor jumps out and actually bites his fucking face, so he's definitely dead.
That was definitely.
Well, I may have blanked that out then, because I thought what you've just said is what was the original. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. It was an original. Mason just went, Mason
As a kid, I must have blanked out the traumatising.
Well, it is. It is a traumatising thing.
Who wants a Jurassic Park plate?
That food looks fucking horrible.
I gotta say, like, it was one of those things, like, the best of the best. It's like, this is where you fall short, like, when you go to really posh restaurants.
But the guys ahead of us again.
Well, it's normally you're ahead of us, Paul.
Yeah, because it makes a change. Where you at, like, Paul?
I'll just skip to 35 minutes. So there's always 35 minutes and 5 seconds, will you?
You have to go to call with that one, like. So what was the tagline for this? Carl, it's your culture.
65
I'll be
minutes.
able to, yeah, I'll be able to get that up straight away.
65 years in the making, wasn't it?
65. So it's 65 million years in the making.
It's 65, I would have said. Let's see who. Released July 16th, 1993.
Again, there's a lot of dialogue, and again, for kids in the pictures, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, we get the death at the start, and then it's slowly winded up, I mean, there's a lot of explanation and all that, but again, this scene as a kid, I always remember going, like, because they are trying to play it serious, but again, it's obviously aimed at kids, but Spielberg was quite a good master at that, but I do think it lingers a bit here.
Well, I mean, you've got to get the lawyer stuff out of the way, don't you?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously that's potentially the whole reason they're there, but at the same time, we're not there for that. We're there for the dinosaur film. But I suppose if they didn't bring all this into it, you wouldn't really have, like, many people going, oh, what would all that about them?
Yeah.
So, this actually has 9 taglines, which is one of my favourite sayings ever, is life finds a way.
Yep.
And then we have remember, return, relive the 3D, celebrate the 20th anniversary of the adventure, 65 million years in the making. That was for the 3D release. Welcome to ... Unleash the Beast. And caution, alive inside. The park is open, and an adventure 65 million years in the making.
That's not right. I mean, the park is open.
No discovery about what?
The park is open and never opened.
Yeah. Well, listen, did it. What was the phenomenal discovery of our time becomes the greatest adventure of all time, which I feel like it definitely said a lot more towards the fact that the film is very generational friendly.
It is a long scene, this, like, isn't it? Right, kids?
I like it though.
Let's go to the toilet. I mean, it's very stylized as well, because obviously you've got the projectors going in the background. You know what I mean? Must be doing the fucking focus pullers, guys. A fucking nightmare. Was that a good take? Yeah, but he was out of focus a bit.
So there is actually a couple of scenes that were taken out. Obviously, this one focusing on the fact that in mainland Chinese released the 3D version. So the goat chunk that splatters against the Jeep and Lex's reaction to it. And then it's got Gennaro in the T-Rex mouth. He's a lawyer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's got Dr. Sauter's discovery of Arnold's severed arm. And of course, as you mentioned, Mason, the raptor pouncing on Modum.
There you go. How iconically colourful are them fucking Jeeps?
No. Again, no, Ali, that's just such a generic thing to do to a Jeep. Yet today, if someone were to buy like a replica, that you'd be paying a fortune.
Well, that's
it. If I drove, I would definitely buy one of them.
I mean, if they did it at a reasonable price, like as a replica, like a small replica, like maybe it's the size of a, like the way they brought the Ecto 1 out a few years ago, I would have one of them in the room on display. It's so colourful, you know what I mean? But like...
Is it crazy that you could have an actual better computer in the car today than what they've got?
I know.
CD-ROM?
CD-ROM.
Now, is it Anna Richardson who plays Lex? Is she in Tremors?
Yeah, she's in Tremors. She's in Tremors and she's in Tremors 3 as well.
And isn't Timmy in...
he's in a bunch of stuff now.
He's in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, isn't he?
Bohemian Rhapsody, which he played Don Deacon, but he also played a hell of a role in The Pacific, which is Spielberg and Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't he supposed to be in Hook, but he was too young or something like that?
I don't know.
Because it's about the same kind of kid. It's the same kind of era. He's also in Justified. Yeah. He's the snake preacher. He hasn't aged well. He's quite an ugly guy. Bless him.
Fucking hell, that's a bit hard, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's a fucking podcast.
I know what Mason's got me, but I'm not listening.
I think we all feel like a bit ugly now, a little bit.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, you see child actors, and it's like, if you look at the kid from Neverending Story, and you look at them and you go, who's that? And you're like, I don't know. And it's it's a little kid from Neverending Story. And he's covered, he's like a full-on, like, Captain Caveman. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's like, if you look at the kid from Problem Child, he looks exactly the same, which is terrifying.
Well, I mean, it's definitely due to the fact that he's a very skinny person, but I was talking about this the other week, is like, for some reason, although, yes, I'll put it out there, he clearly looks older, but Macaulay Culkin, you've got this kind of age thing going on where you still look just like the older version of him as a kid.
But Macaulay Culkin looks sinister as fuck. He looks sinister as fuck, Macaulay Culkin, like.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I just agree that if Sam Jack was ever to get lung cancer, it would definitely be in this film.
Samuel L. Jackson. Again, he had been in Goodfellas. He was, you know what I mean, he was in Eddie Murphy's Raw. He was in Coming to America. He was literally auditioned for everything. Who knew at such a later life, like in his later life, he would have such a successful career?
Yeah. And it'd be an interesting biography, I think, because to be honest with you, it strikes me as unusual because I think the way he plays himself off, especially in interviews and stuff like that, is that he doesn't I don't know how to take him. Like, I don't know, is he business savvy? Is he lucky? Is his name that carries him and he just has to turn up and do things now? I just with a few actors, I can look at them and go, they've worked their ass off and been very clever about what they picked. Whereas for Sam Jack, and it's not a disrespect to him at all, I just look at him and think, I don't know what type of person you are behind the camera. Samuel
Jackson often appears on a few comedy tracks. He appeared on the one called Sphere, which was from the same writer, and he had sort of passed on it, but because he was conflicting with his schedule. So he's a working man's actor. But everyone owns Deep Blue Sea, if you listen to that, Samuel Jackson, you know, he says he took the role. It was going to be the sort of whole psycho thing. People are going to go like, shit, Samuel Jackson's dead. And Rennie, because Samuel Jackson's notoriously known for going to places where he can play golf. And again, if you watch 51st State, he's a massive golf enthusiast.
Just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, but Rennie Housen's shocked in the middle of the commentary because him and Samuel Jackson are in this commentary track. And Samuel Jackson goes, right, I'm off, I'm dead. And he's like, where are you going? He says, I'm going to play golf. I haven't even seen the rest of the movie, and fucking leaves him. And the director's on the live commentary track going, all right, I wasn't expecting this. So he's notoriously known for loving to play golf, and you know what I mean. You just need to look at him bouncing around. A lot of Avengers and stuff like that. But again, he's worked loads, but he's in loads around this era. He has so many small roles and pops up in cameos and shit. And here,
I don't feel like he's sacrificed any either. He hasn't done really horrible things.
No.
I mean, it could be questioned, but he'd always gone for good roles as well. He hadn't just done it for the sake of the paycheck.
I was just going to say, you need to watch Dennis Nedry's screen, because at one bit, Jaws is on.
Aye.
Which is a little, a little JPEG screen on one of his screens. He's watching Jaws. I do ask for them, they pay for them.
I think it's the squeaky thing.
Oh, there it is, aye. Just saw Jaws.
Jaws.
You see Jaws, aye?
Uh,
Look at this workstation. They just look like pizza boxes, not hard drives.
yeah.
Quiet!
I'm still astounded by. I mean, it's no small amount, but I'm still astounded by the cost of this film. Do you have that at all, or do you want to listen?
No, you do it. I haven't got anything connected at the moment.
Let's see. So, do we know? Did anyone want to establish how much it cost to make this film?
This is around, I would say about the, it's around the 40 to 60, isn't it? It's not mental.
Paul, what do you reckon?
60.
You'd have both close enough. 63 million. But it made worldwide. It made 133 million.
It's mental.
Was that just America?
No, that was worldwide gross.
Really?
Weekend in America, it was 47 million. And then it was gross America alone was 404 million, whereas cumulatively worldwide gross what is it? So 100 no, it might be no. I can't read numbers. So 133,925,811.
Because obviously in them days it was cheap enough. The ticket was only like a $5 for a ticket, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Back in the day.
But back in the day as well, I mean, you've got no internet, word of mouth spread. I mean, it was fucking everywhere. It was on McDonald's cups, it was in Argos, and then, it was playing on multiple screens. And again, you've got to remember, like VHS, it wouldn't come out on VHS for over a year later or something like that. Do you know what I mean? The hype was huge.
Black one, wasn't it? Wasn't it just jet black case?
Yeah, okay.
The cover was black. I love that.
I actually went to see The Lost World in New Zealand, in Nelson. That's when that came out. And,
what did I show that encounter like?
Well, it was a long way to go for a fucking film like. Look at that though, no flash photography written on there.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to take I mean, again though, like imagine taking a flash photography inside the car. You'd be like, oh, you wouldn't know if you had a great picture until months later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious though, would they let you film Mason? Because if you were at Jurassic Park, something tells me you might have a camera on you.
Well, that's it. There'll be no way I'll be like, oh no, you're not allowed to have a camera, like one-off experience. But then again, it's like them laws now have changed because people, like the phones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although I think I couldn't be 100% sure though, but I'm fairly confident we put a bit of a block on it at my workplace now. I don't think we can stop you using your phone or anything like that, but if you started doing like if you brought like a couple of people in Mason and started recording something, apparently a big no-no. Whereas I remember that being the case if we weren't even that bothered once upon a time.
I mean,
go for it. You paid your admissions, go for it.
It's that's it. You know what I mean? People are like the whole vlogging thing, and people are aware that they may. But again, it just depends on what people do. But again, it's like
there's still a level of respect, isn't it?
Well, that's it. It's like a lot of people now are worried about bad publicity or giving a joke away. I mean, you're not going to buy a ticket for like if someone's sponsored for it. It's like a magic trick. You know how it works. You're not going to be bothered, and that's one thing protected. But like that's the problem with people with the phones now. Like used to back in the day, if someone was gonna, you would like, oh, who flashed that? Right, you can't have that camera. And again, a shoulder mounted camera and all that. It's just a different world, like, and it's the era of YouTube and stuff like that. I mean, back in the day when I used to like go out and film stuff, and I used to get my camera out, people used to be like, "What the fuck?" But then people like used to react different to me because I mean, fuck anyone who's like, "Oh, YouTube this or whatever." The long before YouTube, like if you got a video camera out, people would do two things: one, they would run a mile, or two, they'd be like, "Hey," and like freeze come weird. In like there was one way or the other, but like a lot of people like it's like one of those things where people are like it's not going to suck your soul out. But now it's so obvious. I mean, loads of people were filming in the Metro Centre over the weekend, and just the amount of people and going, "Hey, look at all these people," and I would just wave at them as it went past.
Yeah.
I just missed his speech now. I hear you. I'm talking to myself in a car. That's chaos. Yeah.
But then the big issue there, like Howard Grant, for all you an archaeologist, you're very big on rules. You were kicking off with the helicopter, blowing your little sand pile out the way. Yeah, you just clearly jumped out of a car to go and see dinosaurs.
Well,
It's so scary. Like, this is before the internet. You know what I mean? This is like so scary. You know what I mean? It's like then it's like the floppy disks, master copy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A title I've always thought that might have been called Jurassic Park, because obviously we had The Lost World, which obviously contradicted itself, because the Lost World novel is deemed a classic, isn't it? And then like the chaos theory, like Jurassic Park, the chaos theory, it made that.
I think it'll be cheesy today, but yeah, back then it would have worked really well, I think.
I'll be back in a second, guys.
And there it
See,
is.
this is iconic, because like I said there, it's real, you know what I mean?
But do you know what's so funny about this?
What's that?
It's actually purple, and then they seen it on the day, and like, I don't think this is gonna work. So like, that's why it's just smothered in mud. It's actually purple.
Yeah, I feel like I remember reading something like that. Yeah, because we went there, going back. I mean, obviously, when I went to America, I tried to get as much as I could when it came to the movie world and stuff like that, and we got into this. It was a safari park, but it wasn't probably wasn't a proper one. It was like they were set up like where there were dinosaurs and stuff like that, and it was just mental just how great it was, because they're animatronics and stuff like that. But it's just like, yep, this is about as close that I'll ever get to what a Triceratops was and stuff like that. I feel like this is where the mastery of the filmmaking was, that he could have done the CGI by all means, but he chose to keep it there. And like I say, going back to the cost, 63 million, for what this film might have been kind of slated originally. I don't know what they had on paper, but they could have gone a lot higher than that. Right?
I mean, it's just an amazing model. I mean, in the book it's a Stegosaurus, but it's really there. The actors can really get into it. I mean, the breathing of the chest and all that. It's kind of like.
Yeah, imagine him being told to pretend to do that. But that's what I mean. Like if he did a CGI and he would just say, "Just lie on this and pretend it's going up and down," it just wouldn't have resonated.
It's
Fancy
just,
gold torch.
and I mean, only in I think it's in Jurassic World. There's only one bit where one of the heads is on the floor. That's actually real, but everything else is CGI.
Yeah.
Going back to the berries. Oh, we don't eat them. Are you sure? Paul Ray.
See, I suppose you could probably find a little bit more, but I think for advertising purposes, obviously, given lockdown and given the world that we've lived in the last 12 months, there's been no real advertisement, but they've gone really quiet on the next Jurassic Park film.
Well, that's it. It's one of those films. They're going like it's them kind of films are aimed for cinema. They're hoping for cinema, and like until like shit goes down. Like again, look at Jurassic Kong and Godzilla. You know what I mean?
Should have been out by now, shouldn't it?
We should be physically holding that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but we're not.
Exactly. But again, it's like I don't know. 'Cause like with the new one, I feel like unless they go the I Am Legend route, where we have maybe say, I mean obviously I know there's only one person in that or two I think, but let's just say we go with four main characters. You've got a city that's been abandoned based on the outbreak, because obviously given where we left off with the last one, obviously they're now running around. So unless you do that, I don't really feel like I can buy into whatever they're doing. I mean that film, the last Jurassic Park film, first 25 minutes, maybe half an hour, excellent. The rest of it just could really leave it, for all I care. Cloning, that's where you lost us. I mean, which is ridiculous, because I'm now watching a film about how they created dinosaurs out of a mosquito, but I don't know, it just feels like the delivery worked, whereas like when you're cloning dinosaurs, there's obviously this kind of hypocritical me sitting here going, I buy into that, but then cloning human beings, now you've lost us. I just feel like too sci-fi.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that this is how it would be done, if it was ever going to be done.
Boom, Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Again, I bet that was cold that day. You can see the clouds. That's not CGI.
Yeah. All in shorts. Oh, Flash.
Fucking hell, I mean, some fucking massive, like, boulders and stuff. No promises! He's searching his desk for more things.
I know that's what I was looking at the Jurassic Park mug at the top. I've got a class cartoon image of that mosquito in amber that I want tattooed. Like, I've always been on the idea either that or Mr. DNA.
We talked about making it obvious, you know, like fucking sitting there, like, oh, alright, what's up with you?
Yeah.
Why are you acting so strange? I mean, smoking. I mean, come on. I mean, he should not be smoking in the movie.
Yeah. But it's weird though because, I mean, as a past smoker yourself, Nathan, you know, like there seems to be whenever he's smoking on screen, an excessive amount of smoke just lingering around a room. Whereas I'd imagine a lot of film makers don't want that, so they end up like getting rid of that. So I feel like it's a bit strange. Like that's why I always feel like it's so like kind of, I don't know, just very bold that he's clearly sitting there smoking, because it's not just a cigarette, it's the fact that the whole space around him is just a cloud of nicotine.
Oh, we lost Paul Ray. What happened to Paul Ray?
I'm going to say he said he'd be back in a minute or so, but...
He's gone.
Did the raptor get him, do you think?
I think he has got him. Dun 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 dun.
Good old.
Video systems.
I like how they were very stated on the side of the camera, surveillance camera, you know, like, just in case you didn't think it was, or just in case you needed to be explained to. Oh, just having another cigarette.
I know.
That's odd, says every person in any film that goes wrong.
There you go, into the cry room. A lot of people say that a lot of the dinosaurs are spelt wrong. It's like, fucking hell. Like, can you even spell some of the dinosaur names? But again, everyone was always just like, what other dinosaurs could there be? Because, like, again, like, you look at, like, it's kind of like, it's like, what dinosaurs do you have in? You know what I mean? And, like, that's it. Like, Gallimimus, Pterosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Velociraptor. I always... you know what I mean, as a kid, like the Loch Ness Monster, there needs to be an underwater one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, like you talk about when you get the third one, like where the fuck's the Spinosaurus come from all of a sudden and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Now, this is where I kind of feel like this guy's game plan falls apart, because maybe you can't pin it on him, but how was he not expecting them not to notice? He didn't just take two, like he took about 6 or 7. So, I mean, and obviously it would have been limited to who could access those rooms. And to me, I would always go straight to the IT guy, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I think...
hold on, didn't Dennis nip off for an hour or two before, or something like that, you know?
Well, Dobson's got a lot more... I don't know if he's got a lot more in the first book or the second book, so there's definitely a backstory, like, completely shot. But again, it's just kind of like, you know what I mean, like... He hasn't thought the plan through. Yes, he can get the shit, but now he's got to go through Jurassic Park in a jeep, get across the island, torrential fucking rain.
Yeah.
But it gets to one of the best deaths because the Dilophosaurus is one of the most terrifying imageries when it's in the car next to him. Yeah. And again, you just wouldn't get that with CGI because they'd be too busy trying to get it. Oh, it's breathing right, it's moving right. That thing when it's frailing its neck and inside the jeep with him, it's fucking terrifying.
Well, especially when it starts to rattle. It's like it's like I say, it still gets me. It's just like you know it's coming, you know what I mean? And I like how they really did. I think they really did a good job of making him look really cute at the beginning as well. When he kind of pops his head out of key.
He's like a lost puppy, isn't he?
To really get you built up to this could be quite a nice dinosaur. And then realising, nope.
I looked it up before us.
Yeah. We're just saying how poor plan Dennis's plan was. You know, really, even if you survived, and like the rest of the film didn't take place. It's very clear that he probably would have gotten caught. You know, but we're just saying like one of the scariest things is the Dilophosaurus, and you couldn't get that with CGI.
Totally agree with the strings. It opens his flaps. I've seen that bit.
No, it hadn't come up here about that for saying. It's like when his flaps start shaking. To me, that was like when I was a kid. I was like, oh shit, that's scary.
If you watch it when his flaps open, you see the strings pulling it. But what kind of signage is that? Any which way? You know what I mean? It's a proper sign. It's just like anything to guess.
Well, the thing is, you think you would know the route?
Yeah.
I fucking hate it when you send that to me as a JPEG, Paul. The phones are out.
Didn't mention earlier on as well that this brought Attenborough out of retirement, didn't it? I'm sure Attenborough was out of film for at least about 10 years before this came out, and this is what brought him out of retirement.
Well, he only did this Miracle on 34th Street and Return for Lost World, didn't he? I mean, that's it. I mean, he was known for some really dark performances, but...
Yeah.
He went on to direct a lot, though. He directed a lot in the 90s, didn't he?
I should tell you. To be honest with you, if you ask me off the top of my head, it's like this and Miracle on 34th Street, that kind of...
Anyone ever play the SNES game when you went around and when you went in the buildings you had the goggles on and it went Doom on you?
Yeah, the SNES game. Yeah, the 3D one. Didn't he direct
that looked like a toy as well? Which one?
Elephant Man.
Yeah, I think
no, he's in Elephant Man, isn't he?
What?
So as a director, he's only directed 12 films. Let's have a look. We have... so 69 he did Oh What a Lovely War. In 72 he did Young Winston. 77 Bridge Too Far. 78 something called Magic. He did Gandhi.
Gandhi, yeah.
Nothing really else other than that. I mean, his last one was 2007, so he did want to do a couple more directing roles.
And his brother's David Attenborough, isn't it? I never knew that until a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as films go, his last acting role was in a film where he actually noted as like a director, which was 2002, which was Pucktoon.
Right, now this T-Rex is fucking brilliant. Now, what I want to say, it's just as good as the Jaws. It's fucking terrifying, this thing.
Well, this is what made me think that the dinosaurs are real. I feel like they got the weight of the T-Rex completely perfect, and it was terrifying.
The only thing they didn't get, what everyone talks about, is the gap of the T-Rex just being able to step over the barrier, but when Alan Grant goes over, it's a massive void.
Massive fall, isn't it? Isn't it too like the water when it shakes? Isn't it like a guitar? It's like a guitar string or something, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Doink.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here it is.
I was one of those glasses, those night vision goggles.
And I mean, what a shot that is, panning up there.
So he's obviously standing up, and with his head tilted all the way up, swallowing the goat, he still wasn't passing the gate. So yeah, there could be a case of...
No, like on about where the car goes flying over the edge and stuff. It's like a massive drop.
Yeah. Aye, but like I say, we only saw his head there, and I'm assuming that he's standing up, so there would still be a massive drop.
No, I mean, he steps over the barrier. Like you said.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with the barrier, that's what I'm saying though. Like, the drop I wouldn't have accounted for because, like I say, we only really see his head. But... No, you definitely couldn't be over it because, like you say, the drop
It's
too
one of
high.
those things like CGI looks really good, but it still can't go wrong practical. I mean,
Yeah.
because
See
the
there,
T-Rex
Carl.
was practical.
He steps right over.
Yeah. We're on level now, so yeah, totally. I agree with that. Yeah, that's fucking stunning, though, boys, isn't it?
I love this bit though. Like he's like moves to wipe the seal that they can't see what's happening as well.
Yeah.
You would just shit yourself. And of course, panic stations, get a light.
So like magnification movement.
She literally has done the worst thing you could do. Unless there was a bat symbol on the front of it, and then we'll be out.
Don't shut the door. It's just terrifying. It's like, again, because it's been physically made, they've made it quite, I would say, quite vicious as well.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure if the teeth hanging out of the mouth, of a closed mouth, is entirely accurate, but it really helps with the effect.
Because when they're filming it, I think it got so drenched because of the rain, it started shaking, so they had to like dry it off.
I mean, even for these kids here, that must have been quite a scene to film.
Well, I mean, it's quite...
they're being told to pretend.
I mean, just the idea of just like, I think in the book, I remember when I read the book, there's two T-Rexes in the book. There's a baby and there's a massive one, and it's red. I think that's why you see a lot of the first generation toys of Jurassic Park, the T-Rex is red. And there's a bit where they're staring out into a field and they're like, oh, the T-Rex. And then the guy is like, no, like look up. And they don't realise how big the T-Rex is, but it's obviously standing there stalking something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking sinister, that, man.
Can you remember the T-Rex toy? With its you open its jaw and it would doing its noise and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't think I had the T-Rex. I had a raptor. I definitely remember that. And I think if you pulled when you pulled his leg back, his head would tilt and open his mouth. It was kind of one of those kind of pulley action, but it was fucking awesome. I still love the fact that it's got like a JP printed on his leg and that.
Yeah, so you know it's not a bootleg.
Exactly. Bootleg, yeah. But see, we all think that's mud, but that's just Timmy's pants, that like.
It's quite sinister, like. That is scary though. Him there with a flare, and it's just like looks up, and it sees him. It's the performance in the eyes and that.
Yeah.
Now, Carl, we were discussing it. They were wearing the cover, the art cover of the new repackaged one. Was it, isn't it? With Alan Grant on the front with the flare.
Yeah. Aye. It's an iconic shot, like. I mean, like I say, given HMV's exclusive print, you know, I just think the style of art was not quite there. But it's such an iconic shot. There's actually a potential tattoo that I'm designing that has a very similar look to that.
With me and Mason on it.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Paul, you're the one sitting on the toilet.
Now, unless you see it very quickly, like you see Jeff Goldblum, he literally gets the teabags of T-Rex and he goes off flying off like Superman. But in the book, Jeff Goldblum just dies of his injuries.
Oh, is that it? So, like, was that what they originally? Because to be honest with you, as much as I'd love to, it's in a big pile of things like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. I just don't read books like.
Yeah.
I've got an awful I've got a great imagination, but I've got an awful visualising imagination. So to me, reading books is just basically looking at words.
If it's not a read your time, just don't read it.
Because it's like that and like the iconic like It, you know, Stephen King did. Everyone always says if you like the film, you've got to really read the book to get the best.
Yeah.
I wait for Nathan to read the books and he tells me about it, so it's alright.
Yeah. get the reviews off Mason. Fair enough.
That's the reason why we said Jurassic Park, so you can tell all the different ones. Forgot to read it.
I suppose there's always audio, but right. Yeah, see, this scene's amazing because it's not this actual scene that I think of, but it's a bit, I think, when he goes to get Timmy, and it's just like, in my head, I think it was like a Sunday, it might have been the News of the World, back in the day, he got like a free Jurassic Park magazine, and it had like behind the scenes pictures and stuff like that.
But look how
it shows you like how far the van was off on the floor, and it's just like, that totally takes the magic away.
Yeah, and it's a fake tree.
Yeah.
And big dinosaur.
But again, it's like compliment to the chef, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, it's like, even today, you believe what you're saying. It does look real.
Just want to hate us. If this was made these days, if it was reissued again, that cigarette would have been CGI'd out by now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think you may have been gone before, Paul. We were just talking about like how like it's just constant smoke. You know, like the smoking in films I get, but in this particular film, it just feels like he's constantly surrounded by a cloud of smoke.
Thing is, he's a chain smoker, but he's also like a tech wizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, how old would you say Samuel Jackson is in this? Because Samuel Jackson doesn't seem to age.
Nah,
he's never looked young.
The fact that changes there with the fact that he's got hair, and I could totally believe that could just be him today and they put a wig on him. But I reckon he's got to be at least maybe 35 in this. I would say, possibly a touch younger.
And here we go. Our mate is coming.
Right.
And obviously, setting up one of the most left open fucking ideas ever is the loss of the canister.
Yeah.
That
well, I mean, for years, even after watching the second one, I was like, right, so on the third one, they're going to go back to the canister, and I'm still thinking now.
I think the only time they've ever went back to the canister is the Jurassic Park game they made exclusively for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Plus the canister, all the embryos would be dead now because they only had a cooling on it, didn't it, for 24 hours or 36 hours or something.
Well, that's it. I mean, again, with the third one as well, like, they never went back to the island. They just decided to, like, keep it on there, but...
I get so confused how many islands there is now.
So many islands now. The only one that matters, Nebula.
Definitely. I think that's the reason why I like the new one for Jurassic World, because it goes back to the original island. They just built on top of it. Or around the corner.
Yeah, it was like that was that's why I like some of the elements of that, but I don't know, because I don't feel like, with enough people who know me and what films I like and don't, I don't dislike Jurassic World. I feel like it could have been so much better, but the problem is, I feel like what they did with Jurassic World is what everyone keeps saying The Force Awakens did in Star Wars. They just recreated the new one in a different way, but at the same time, I would also say that Force Awakens worked way better than Jurassic World. But
it had so many member berries in it.
A lot of them, yeah. I mean, even the fact that like she was running around wearing like it was like a tan grey suit, which was just definitely.
Any second now when you have the thingy, you see the strings in it. It depends on me. Thinking it out now, like, but.
I mean, it's quite.
In the car though.
It's when he's in the car. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Perfect. Stupid dinosaur. No wonder extend. I'm gonna run over when I come down.
Why would he come down?
I don't know. He said something like that.
But hold on, yeah, he does, because he's
trying to get the
right, yeah. Yeah, forget it. I'm being in the ditch.
And there, rah, rah.
That animatronic looks amazing. Like, see the ribs going in and out when it's breathing there. See the little strings put, but still amazing. Like,
But how does it get in the card? Is there a second one? Or does it, he gets hit in the eyes there, he turns around, so it's got a...
I think he might have gone in there. But
Boink! Off the head, bit of comical. There goes the canister. But it's here, in wiping him off, his eyes, his realisation, and then you just see it and it's just lifting its head up and it's fucking, there you go, here it goes. That is fucking sinister.
Dennis Nedry has days like I have.
And even then there, it pans down and you see it getting covered and it's just lost.
And the mud, yeah. That's it. Life finds a way, remember?
it does.
It's a good transition, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously this Jeep as well. This reappears in is it Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom?
Yeah.
Jurassic World.
How old do you reckon Sam Jackson is today?
60.
52.
He's in his 60s.
Right, I'm going to double check this because I don't believe this for a second. This is 72.
Hold on to your butts, no way.
No, I'm going to have to double check because I don't even believe that myself.
Mace Windu is 72, shut up, man.
How old is Samuel L. Jackson? Samuel L. Jackson is fucking 72 years old.
Shut up, man. I was thinking of him in Jurassic Park and Die Hard all the time.
Yeah? Ah, that's scary, that man.
We're getting old now.
Well, that's it. You always look at films, unless someone's, like, I always, like, as you get older and you relive a film, you go, oh yeah, they're about my age now, or like they haven't aged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird.
Well, only because they're on the screen. I'll also mention that Denzel Washington is 66 years old, Jamie Foxx is 53, and John Travolta. Anyone want to take any guesses?
He's in his 70s.
76.
He's younger. He's 66.
Ah, alright. Must be looking at that. Must have drove him over the edge.
Well, you get chills from time to time, you know.
They're multiplying.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently they lose control.
Is it good?
Of all the years, that's all he's going to get in there. Of all the different films he did, that's all he's going to get for the rest of his life.
Do you think if Hook wasn't made, do you think Robin Williams would have been cast as Alan Grant?
Oh, I don't know, because I mean, Robin Williams was such a fucking chameleon, but I just don't picture it. But then again, I think it's because of the way that Alan Grant's portrayed in this, is that it's like almost iconic in itself.
Well, he's called Alan.
don't know if I can
He's called
picture
Alan in Jumanji, which obviously.
That's true. That would have been an interesting sequel, like, or let's just say sequel prequel, if we had a film with Robin Williams running around Jumanji.
You ever kind of tweeted before? No. Okay.
I was shit at climbing trees. I was always that one who was like, nah, you're alright, I'll stay down here.
It's really music.
I mean,
like,
why don't they just like go around the other side of the tree? Do you know what I mean?
Because it's just a movie.
Hey.
It's just a podcast.
Oh, it's just a podcast, everybody. Hey. I remember as a kid going to A2B Northumberland Street and buying the cassette tape for my birthday of Jurassic Park.
Nice.
I've got the soundtrack on CD in the car. I haven't bought the vinyl yet. Vinyl's always expensive, like.
It is. I had it, but there's something wrong with the recording of it. The quality or the transfer wasn't as good, so. And you know they're going to do it on the first edition of it.
Oh yeah. That's what, that 2 years away and it's 30-year-old?
I was going to say 2 years and I was about to say.
Could be worse though.
30 years old.
Oh, could be worse. You could be back in the car.
Oh.
And it's about a trailer. Do. The music is amazing, isn't it?
Well, it was still in the days where music was part of the movie. It was part of the cast, yeah. The character.
Like George Lucas said, like movie's 50%, the music's 40%, and the rest is all like something else. So that I wasn't paying attention. CGI, I think.
I didn't think you liked CGI.
Told you get I know. Misako, oh no! Misako, throws the powers to you.
Did the class, like someone did an animation of What If, so it was basically Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting, and then obviously the What If is that he survives, but he gets captured, and they put him in this like kind of Jedi cell thing. It's really funny because like obviously it all like pans out and then say, and then this happened, and then basically the cell door opened, and it's just like, Annie! It's fucking Jar Jar Binks lets him out. Love it.
And looking over there, the car, and then they get down super quick. You know what I mean? That's like a...
Yeah. But I feel like if there's going to be a critique, I think that would be it. Because obviously they're in the car and they turn up at the top. And I just don't think it showed that there was a bit of a time lapse there very well. It feels like that was almost instant. When they jumped out the car with torches and looked over the side, they should have definitely seen them.
What a great shot that is, though. Jeff Goldblum staring at the footprint and wow.
You can get that, Sam.
This was quite close to The Fly. Which came first?
Fly was a couple of years
The
before.
Fly, yeah, because it was Dave, wasn't it? Yeah. Now that was sinister. I still feel sick watching it.
Me too. I love it, but it makes me feel sick watching
Even
it.
The Fly 2. The Fly 2's fucked up as well.
Yeah.
You need Eric Stoltz alone, right? I'm a big Eric Stoltz fan.
Now this is by far my favourite scene. Just purely based on the fact, like I say, the way they get the weight right, the way you do believe that is actually a T-Rex chasing the car.
My favourite bits are like images are closer than in the mirror.
Just there,
I love that bit so much.
Objects may seem closer than they are.
Yeah.
Spoken like two people who don't drive.
And then Muldoon goes, bloody move! Do you think they have that on the floor?
Do you think that they have that on the ride?
I wouldn't have thought of that as a kid, but what was going through the T-Rex mind there? It's like, fuck it, I can't get a goat. Because he doesn't exactly like fight it, does he? He just kind of lets them wander off. It's just like, nah, not worth it.
I don't think that's like a green screen thing behind him there, you know what I mean? The bit where he goes, I think I'm going to have that on the tour.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on guys, I mean, you must admit, like, for Universal to have this property and not do a pristine transfer like Jaws and spend a fortune on it. Because I would say, I'm watching this obviously on Amazon, but again, it looks alright some scenes, and some scenes it's really, really like grainy. And I don't mind grainy.
Do we know what it's like on 4K though? Because I know they've all been released, but I've never seen the 4K. So
Well, that's it. I mean, they're on Blu-ray, right? They slap it out on Blu-ray as a trilogy, but then they'll still release them individually with new covers on, where we've had a red cover with a T-Rex screaming. The second one's blue, and like the yada yada yada. And then they don't incorporate the new ones into a box set, so they're all separate. But when they drop them out on 4K, they brought them out all individually again. But they become quite hard to get a hold of because they brought them all out in steelbooks.
That's it. I've actually got the Fossil VHS edition.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
I had that.
Oh, is that on the list of things that you used to have? Some of the best dinosaur jokes come up in this scene, I think.
Do you think you saw us?
Yeah.
It's like a big cow's on there, really.
Pretty much.
And they all cuddle in.
I know, we're getting cozy.
In the book as well, you know, the kids are the other way around. The boy's the oldest in the book.
Aye.
Is he a computer
more of a casting thing though?
I think so, yeah.
You have to just kind of let things go when you think, this person works better. Do you still have that claw as a bottle opener in the shop?
No, I don't think we do.
No, I haven't seen one for a while.
It is awesome though. It is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember the soundtrack called A Tree for My Bed. That's what this track is called on the soundtrack.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry guys.
That all reminds me of the big uproar they had on, and rightly so, mine, but with the Phantom Menace, when I named it, like, what was it, Qui-Gon Death or something like that, like, got released.
That's the reason why now a lot of the special Star Wars don't have any track listings on when they first come out.
Yeah.
On the back.
Alright, but then you get stuff that gets embargoed and it's just a track listing for an artist. I'm like, who cares what your track listings are called? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. I mean, come on. Everyone knows Wild Wild West means Wiki Wild Wild West when it's Jim West.
Everything in this scene here you could buy.
I was going to say this is a great advertisement for the film, doing it for merchandise. Like, how would you get around it?
I'm already shop for parts of the dramas. The making of Jurassic Park. Petty Courtly one.
But it's just me. I mean, maybe because I'm older and I don't really see it myself, but like movie merchandise doesn't really exist as much now, does it?
No one takes a risk. No one takes a
like,
risk.
you don't get like, you know, I don't know. I just didn't think it'd be like as much detail put into it.
I think why I think
that like.
no expense paid. That's fair.
Yeah,
I think
really one brand.
Yeah. I might go get some Jurassic Park ice cream actually.
Yeah. Oh, what if they had like little fossil dinosaurs? Chocolate chip. There you go. It's probably been done.
Ben and Jerry's.
Bloody Ben and Jerry's. Lovely ice cream, but you know.
I prefer Tom and Jerry's.
Hey, have you not seen that trailer yet? It looks awesome. Fucking awful. It looks fucking awful, mate.
Just because it got Chloe Grace Moretz and that's all.
No, got nothing to do with it. It just literally, they've not really incorporated that animation into real life at all. Not like a cartoon themselves running over the top of a film.
I like that. I like that old style. Like Roger Rabbit kind of thing.
I'd still say Roger Rabbit's like 10 times better than what I saw in that trailer.
Roger Rabbit's a fucking marvel, like.
Well, the question is, though, who's asking for a Tom and Jerry? Because it's not like they're going to be able to do things the way they used to. You know, they'll be like too violent now.
Alice?
Let's have a black person's feet run across the screen every now and then. Let's see that happen in this day and age.
No.
Although I always took her as the house owner. I never took her as a maid.
Okay.
Did you not?
I had a maid, so it's alright.
Well, that's fair enough.
I'm called Paul Ray the Third.
Paul Ray the Third.
I think it's just because they're having the cane with the embryo that started it all. I mean, with them all the time, I think that's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if Nicolas Cage was Ian Malcolm?
Yeah. No, that would be interesting.
There you go.
I'd hire Nicolas Cage to play a dinosaur.
Nicolas Cage is the T-Rex.
Yeah. I'd go and see that.
Ooh.
It is a long film, isn't it?
What were we watching the other day? Was it The Burbs when we were talking about Lauren Dern being Bruce Dern's daughter?
Yeah. That wasn't the other day, that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I thought you were quite fit in this one.
Like I said, in Mask, the Rocky Dennis story, she played the blind girl. We've made Eric Stoltz. I'm mentioned 5 times so far on this podcast for some strange reason.
Oh, you're a fan?
Remember the size of that thing? It's fucking huge.
That's what she said.
You can't, like, again, like, you would have CGI on that, but, like, see, like, it's really there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it came over and just put a leg and start eating that?
The end.
The poor Ray
Finish.
remake.
Got the part at the end. Alan Grant's wearing a face mask, totally wrong. It's supposed to be wearing a face mask around your neck.
It's just before you give it to you, Paul.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fending off dinosaurs, fending off the general public. There's not much different.
That's a few dinosaurs.
Dino Riders. I'm surprised Dino Riders hasn't had some kind of resurgence.
Dino Rider. Oh, that was class, that.
Man, I never thought of Dino Riders until you mentioned it now.
I was talking about this the other day because Brave Star disappeared. Visionaries would make a fucking bitchin' film like.
Yeah. Was that the one with the holographic thing on the toy chest?
Aye.
Visionary.
Did you not see in the animation cartoon the Magic Bus?
No.
Literally, right. I'll have to send you a picture. Right, so this is like a separate series altogether, but literally the kids from Captain Planet are just all of them grown up. It's brilliant. It's just like there's no way it could be a coincidence. It's just like note for note.
Captain Planet, I'm surprised he hasn't had a fucking resurgence.
That should have a new series.
Jeff Goldblum was in Captain Planet. He was the voice of Ratman or whatever it was. Honestly, no, like seriously, like Captain Planet. So who's got the computer?
I'm miles away, so it's just not me this time.
Just have a look at the cast of Captain Planet.
Right, okay, just
Because Jeff Goldblum's one, but I'm sure there's some proper famous people with voices in that.
Is it just me, or did they explain, like, because didn't they say that, oh, well, he's explaining it now, I suppose, how they eventually get male and females?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's coming out of DNA, but some South African species of frogs have been known to change sex from males to females in a single sex environment.
Fucking hell, Paul. Jesus Christ.
I know, I've seen it 1,000 times. I'm not even having anything in front of us. I know that
Calm down, Paul.
It's weird. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
I was going to say, we've got Whoopi Goldberg.
Yep, Frank Welker, obviously. Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, I wasn't not surprised there.
Jim Cummings. Where did Jim Cummings from? Winnie the Pooh.
You are?
Winnie the Pooh was in Captain Planet, the voice, Jim Cummings.
Alright.
Anyway, just talk.
I was going to say, but I'll tell you what, I'd love to see like a live action remake of, and it would be awesome. Like a Mice from Mars.
The thing with this turtles, like the step one film.
Either that or Gargoyles. Paul, are you suddenly swallowing your mic again?
I know.
No. Don't know why.
Paul, I didn't understand a fucking word of that. What was that?
Yeah, that was my comment. That was what I meant.
My phone is in front of my face because I've done all the way through this film.
Gets aggressive, doesn't he? Hold on to your butts.
Can't do that in this day and age. Well, your own, I suppose.
You know when you ring Virgin Media and it's send it to the back on, this is what it's like, isn't it? Always think about the it's not from remains.
I never bought a lot from Virgin Media. I remember going in there a lot, but I never actually bought a lot.
It's a bit broadband.
We're talking about like shops back in the day. one store I used to go in the metal every single time. Jody Jeans.
Go.
You used to get your flags there, man. I got a Iron Maiden Eddie figure from there as well.
Jody Jeans with the metal thing for your wallet. Also,
your chain. Yes, chain.
Yeah. Jody Jeans, man.
That was one of the first in our school to start doing the metal chain thing.
Now these guys, they spent a lot of work on this. This is some of the original animation because this is all about about the weight ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at me, just look at me, I'm really like a flip of birds, not me. I mean, it's amazing.
What are they evading now? Predator?
They're not evading anything because they run directly towards it. They're just out for a run.
I'm going to use that from now on instead of I'm going to say a flock of three.
The flock of Jar Jar Binks. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
Right, it's my turn to piss off on this podcast. So you guys keep talking for a minute.
I'm not like a big dinosaur nerd, but I do find I'm one of those people now. If someone ever mentioned, like, oh, you know, when dinosaurs got extinct and that, I was like, they're not extinct. You know, there's still, like, plenty of breeds out there that are really just close to dinosaur DNA. It's just like, yeah, there's some species exist that are extinct, but dinosaurs, in fact, technically are still around.
The bird.
Birds, lizards, all sorts, mate. There's so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're named after me, bird of prey.
Aye. Harley one.
No, hang on, no. I mean, it's things now, but the T-Rex's face when Timmy says, look at all that blood, and went back to the T-Rex with blood all over its face, would have been a bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a big one of famous memes, isn't it? Oh, is it this?
Aye.
He's got his chest hanging out.
Well, I know he's got lower turned legs, Jeff Boob's nipple. Sex appeal on the screen.
These days, a bunch of teenagers, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've never got around to watching it, right? But the way it's an animated series.
Yeah, I just
that was released. And I think they only released it like a few months ago.
Yeah,
hold on. I'll be that guy. They released it like a year ago because it was last year.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. But I've never got around to watch it. But it's kind of one of those things I think it'll not be remotely like for me, marketed wise. But I might be able to get a chuckle out of it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, that's it. I wish we had what you talking like that in our work. I was from bloody 1920s.
I was up. I like this picture. It goes like it should be me wide because I'm a man and you're a, and then they go it's gonna come back. Yeah, that means 90s now would be like, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean absolutely. It's just a case of I don't know. It's just like it's part of like the biggest part of why I really despise like film media. I love watching a film because I can watch it and take it for what it is. But like I used to love going on things like you know, the IMDb, not so much now because I haven't got the forum. But I used to love to go things like that because you get so many great discussions. But now it's just like, oh, this is so sexist and this is that and this. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it is. But I think sometimes it's just like you forget about it after you turn the film off and it's just like, okay. But now it's just like cancel media. Like everyone needs to be fired and everyone needs to be reprimanded. But only when it makes sense, you know, like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard sort of situation.
Oh, yeah. I think the entire world just got mental with all the work and, you know what I mean, and all, like, just go watch them and enjoy the film, you know what I mean? There should have to be sexist, just go and watch it, you know what I mean?
But I think it's just like, and I certainly don't want to be that guy and go, it's the younger generation. But I think it is, but I feel like to me, there's a blurred line because we've come up to be able to speak our own mind, but then nobody's honing it in when it comes to talking about, like, stupid concept. Like now, the younger generation will always tell you, "Oh, well, it's only because of you don't understand, what it's like for young people today." So you can have an opinion by all means, but it doesn't necessarily mean just because you've got an opinion doesn't mean it's right. Whereas I feel like that's the case now. It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. If I think it is, that's the only way it is. There's no open-mindedness anymore.
That was such a the hair. Yeah. What's the first thing? But yeah, I mean, today films are like have to have like opinions on everything now. Right? You can't go and watch it anymore. Never have to be.
But it's been created for it as well, though. It's like you can see there's certain things that have changed that have been made deliberately that way. We've changed the characters because we don't want to get heat. Because someone will find it offensive. It's like, no, always release what you want to release. Either people will dislike it or people will love it, bottom line. That's why I think Tarantino's always had a great concept that way, It's like, he has been criticised so many times about saying, are you not really a racist because you've used the N-word so many times? And it's just like, no, that's just a film I made.
That's just a walking that day, and that's how people talk.
But that was it, because obviously one of the biggest ones was Django Unchained, I think. And he turned around and said, but I would have been disrespecting the heritage if I didn't use what they were called. You know what I mean?
They can hide facts around. I always thought this was cheeky thing where he goes on electric.
Yeah.
Being traumatized, being eaten.
Well, it's the first time he's having a bit of a laugh, isn't it? And he takes it too far, goddammit.
It's a look he gives him. Ping!
I like how he thought, I'll try my head first. If there's ever going to be a chance that he gets
maybe we can fit through.
To be honest with you, Timmy could probably fit through there, like one of them. Timmy could fit through
very easily. I think Timmy would definitely easily. I think Lex would have done it, but it would have been a bit of a squeeze. But yeah, it was Grant who tried it first.
I don't think I'll try it next time.
Would you be that person though? Like it's been about like online for years now, where someone like comes across an electric fence and then it's like, oh, let's record someone touching it. It's just like I don't think I'd ever want to go. Oh well, I got to touch it for the laugh.
No, but I'm sure much Jack having a pain, Steve having a wing on one time.
No, it's Chris Robb. It's Robb himself. Pisses on the electric fence. Now,
this is quite and I'm not saying pun intended, but this is quite a dark scene, and this is really not the crime offence, it's her being inside that kind of place. And
well, Samuel Jackson's death was deleted and changed, I think, from what I know.
Yeah.
I love that camera because the fence it goes underneath the fence. It's really good. The sound wrangles on it.
Didn't Timmy have 2 stunt doubles for this scene as well? I'm sure I've seen a picture where it's him and 2 others very much like him. It's just really? Do you need 2 people?
That's got more signage than Casper's bathroom.
Ha! That's a lot of signage, that. That's really grainy when it cuts back to them two.
Is it proper signage or is it stuff that Casper's made himself?
No, it's the same for everything, so you know where everything is.
He's made it himself though, Paul. He's literally took the laminator out and just printed stuff on Word.
Yeah.
Carl, it's even got telephone next to telephone.
Really?
Someone moved the bin out and I was like, what's the bin gone? I don't know where it is. There's no sign saying where the bin is. It's got more. Electric is for Jurassic Park, but it's expensive.
Well, it could cost me a fortune, but no expensive food.
Unless it's pay as you go. I mean,
yeah, probably.
2, 3. That's not even that time, man. You can jump off there.
And now he's done the hard part. The hard part would have been going over the top.
Wouldn't you think the sign, when she turns it on, it goes red? When you don't think it'd be green to turn it on? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you think
Well, now green's normally green for go though, isn't it? It's yeah, go, that's red's hazard, stay away, warning.
Yeah, I suppose.
He's a big jump scare. Big jump scare here. raptor. I mean, creeping through the wall.
Yep. It's a bit of a wall, but it's putting in his teeth. You seen it?
It's coming for you. Oh, there you go. Samuel.
It's a bit strange that they did such a... I mean, yeah, sure, he's not one of the major characters, but he's a big character, and why would they go off screen with his death?
I mean, it does act. I mean, you do like you get a jump from her and then into another shock with a raptor, like, and now this becomes the Raptors movie.
Yeah.
Move over T-Rex. It's now Raptor fun. Now we go back to the hunting now, don't we? Now again here, you've got. If you keep an eye on the call, you'll see that scene we're on about. Obviously, one's.
Oh, yeah, because
I love Black Cries, we find out the same time.
I love that shotgun. I always remember the kid thinking that's such a cool shotgun.
But everyone knows about a shotgun's not for range, though, is it?
Yeah, because
What? Do the range sell shotguns?
No, man, the range, like, if fucking, you wouldn't, like, he unlocks it like it's going to be a rifle shot.
alright. Clever girl.
And the boom, and then where he goes, comes flying over.
Yeah, but you know, we were there. Well, Alan Grant says at the start. It's smart.
And then the other one's just staring at him. I mean, that's just a weird cutaway as well.
Yeah.
With a snake on its face. So.
Who's got interference?
Not me.
500 different computers that you've got.
Who, me? None of mine are connected to the internet, though.
Well, I'm sitting on my couch about 7 feet away from my computer, so if it is me, there's nothing I can do about it.
Don't you worry, Bob. Don't you worry. Life ain't worry.
I never worry. Of all the podcasts I've done with you, I've never once heard interference, so maybe it is me, but it's never on my side. Now that was a very clever way to do that scene with the Velociraptor images.
The picture.
Yeah, that's what images.
Yeah, it's picking up 10,000 volts through us. What do you think, man? Just a what do you think? What do you think is going to happen to us?
But this is where the good food is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But who was eating all that? I mean, there was not enough of them there, even if everything went smooth.
And
It's good.
And it can't be refrigerated, so a lot of the cakes are not going to last.
It looks too expensive, that stuff for me. Like, it's not like Co-op's own make or Morrison's own make. It looks like expensive.
A little. See, he's actually gone for vegetables. Which kid does that?
I know. Broccoli.
I know.
He's wearing his bandana wrong also on his hands. That's where he's burned his. That's Dr. Grant. Did you cut it up or something?
dun dun dun.
This is my thing to Mason, like, sends me a message on the podcast.
Just when Mason sends an image or a video in general, to be honest with you.
That's what, yeah, it's true.
You never know what you're going to get.
I start shaking with my hands. I go, oh.
Are you going to talk about that time you had that picture of that woman when you were on the bus? Is that again?
Yeah, dramatic that. The painters were disgusted what you sent us.
You didn't have to watch it 10 times, though.
I know. Groovy.
Like a drive-in movie. They've learned how to open doors.
Is the music good? Oh, take him.
Can't you see someone's hand in a minute push the back of the raptor down? When it comes to when you've got a wild, keep an eye on the wild shot, just in the background. There's the hand there.
Oh, you've ruined it.
Sorry.
I've never noticed that. I'm never going to notice that anymore. Yeah, you touched her up his ass.
The music just to Mason now. It's all ruined now.
Sorry.
Oh, can we just turn it off, lads? It's just like, that's not going to interfere with it.
I mean, even like that CGI there, it's you can tell what it seems, but it still looks really good. It's something about the dark textures make it stand out, but like they still look really good.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're using the lighting really well with it. So far, this is how it's done. Not like Wonder Woman 84. That was just shit.
Oh, don't even go there. I've had to when the woman posted down. I was so embarrassed.
I love that there, that tipping. Where are they?
Yeah.
Maybe tap. Raising me my toenails.
Ugh.
Well, this is what I always thought about when Grant had the Reservoir Labyrinth intro. It's just like, he just carried around a toenail, isn't he?
Yeah. Just like right in the heat.
Oh, man, fucking Timmy.
Timmy!
Something just...
But see, the video game had Mate the Raptors that popular, the Mega Drive one. You could be, and then the Grants was all like, but it was so hard to navigate through like jagged edges and jumping and shit, and little cars and that.
Yeah, they haven't get it down properly. Like,
my favourite bit was the Sega was when a T-Rex goes Sega.
Raw! And it
No.
growls.
were you actually tricked by this? Because I generally was. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Even after I saw it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of obvious now that you see it, and you know it's coming, you know that shit around the corner. But to me, it's I just sat there and go, hold on, what the hell happened?
But they're not that. Idiots. Stupid idiot.
But no, I remember it was around about now, like really just after New Year, when I got two of my late presents, which was, because I got a PlayStation 1 for Christmas, and I got the Jurassic Park game for the PlayStation 1, and I got the Die Hard Trilogy.
Die Hard Trilogy, yeah.
I like this picture where Lex got arms up like that. Like, and it's she's just run. Like, yeah, like a zombie, The problem that scares me. It just...
The fact I got him like almost smiling, as if he's saying, I fucking got you now.
They get over it.
See, this part of the movie now, though, it's like, it really fast tracks to the end, mate, now.
Yeah.
I was saying that, we've got the whole, I love this bit, though.
Speed up the impression.
The Raptors, like in any of the follow-ups on this, have never been so sinister as they are in this.
No, like you said, they got feathers and stuff like that. And that's the only thing I hate in the third film is the bit where he's on a plane and he's dreaming about raptors. I mean, he doesn't dream about raptors.
Alan. It's the Raptor talking about Alan.
About raptors. Look at that, look at that, man. Look at that. I mean, look at that.
Now, obviously, they've got the shotgun, that, right? But do any human characters actually kill any dinosaurs? They don't do that.
No. It's the other way around. So that's one thing. He's teeing out, popping up the bloody chair.
I mean, technically, that raptor, what's in the freezer's kind of died, but again, they're on about how it's learning how to open doors, like, so.
Yeah.
iPad or tablet, wouldn't it? Their control station.
Where you just voice activated. Hey Siri, shut the door. Okay.
I like how they still had Dennis's naked, well, semi-naked lady on the computer there. Yeah, I would buy like Jeff Goldblum dying, and it's based on that fact that he's been in. It could have been like a sacrificial, like death.
No, I think he just dies of he just dies of like septicemia or something like that. So in the book, Richard Hammond goes outside, and there's another dinosaur that's not. There's a dinosaur in the book that's invisible, and that's running around outside. So there's like this missing of this dinosaur. It's like hides everywhere, but Hammond dies of the compies. He falls, and all the compies get him. Obviously, there's no compies in this movie.
It's a funny thing, is that one, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, in the way the second movie starts is how this movie starts, because in the book they have a lot of problem with raptors getting off the island, so it's a common problem, but they don't really face replacement.
Yeah, that's right, didn't it? Well, kind of it. Because she looked up. You're right, like the pacing is like it's went from like slow to like it's done in 2 minutes time.
Yeah, well, like a race, it just kind of took its time all the way, and then at the end it's sprinting.
I mean, it's still a 90s film. You've got to remember, in the 90s it'll all be about 2 hours max, because you've got to get the kids in and out and stuff like that. You've got to get more maximum showing potential. We'll fucking knock some of the falls off this. And get ready for the most stealthiest ninja ever, the T-Rex. You know, all that effects they did with the storm and water and the big thumbs. Oh no, it's there like a ninja.
How did it get in?
How
Back door.
Whee!
I mean, Timmy should have died at least 3 or 4 times by now.
Now, is that the one from the freezer, or there's still a Velociraptor left?
I think there's one more.
Because there was 3, wasn't there? So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, because
Smile.
Stealthiest
I
ninja
guess
ever.
there was 3, and then there's one still in the freezer.
You've got nasty cops though.
I mean, no one's seen it coming? No?
No.
I mean, whatever.
It's like a dinosaur.
No, there you go. You can see the door where you came in.
And then people heard it, wouldn't you?
You should have, but yeah.
It's just a movie.
Pay attention, because this is where you'll start to see all the details in Jurassic World. See certain scars on them.
Yeah, on her.
On her,
I
right?
apologise, yeah.
Well, dinosaurs are feet, I don't remember.
Correct. He might have turned into a boy, like Jeff said.
I know.
But in another thing that's missing though from here is a massive scene at there's like a log chase, and there's a bit where the T-Rex chases him down the river, which is completely missed from the film at all.
Yeah.
And obviously the idea that there is two T-Rexes. But again, it works, like.
Amazing. It just adds to it.
Yeah.
Got them InGen. They got so much trouble on their hands. That InGen, they're going to get. Honestly,
the insurance is going to go through the roof.
Honestly, the premiums are going to go so high now. They wanted to have to start engineering and use it for weapons to, pay for it all.
Yeah, well, this is it.
Pling. Plinky pling. Keep. Plink. That's me. Jurassic Park on the styrofoam. Pling. Plinky plong. true, though, isn't it? Have you been like some exec on a journey on the way back and you went to talk to each other because it's not happened?
Yeah.
No.
You just don't want the inevitable of going home.
It's amazing they don't get together, like, isn't it? Ellie and.
Well, you'd think so, even based on that look. She's obviously getting a bit moist for him.
Oi!
And then,
I mean, come on, that face has shaded out, doesn't it? I remember a lot of people were thinking they were pterodactyls. It was like, it clearly weren't, but I can see why they went with those types of birds. But everyone was like, oh, that must be pterodactyls. And I was like, no.
Well, again, guys, in the a book, you know in Jurassic Park 3 when they end up in the birdcage and all that shit happens in the birdcage?
Yeah.
That's in the book. So that's essentially the last act of the movie. And that is totally missing. But again, that's almost kind of saying, oh, we wanted to do it, but we can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the helicopter was half empty there.
What was the next thing? Is that Hammond was talking about something like that? I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I don't.
Oh, then out of the endangered species ones.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Iconic font.
Well, a unique font really for them as well, you know. Sam.
I mean, it's go load this.
So, what's it going to be, Paul Ray? How many what?
Clever girls? Clever girl.
Who's going first? Who's going first?
I don't know. So, to me, it's let's see. I mean, if you break it down, you got absolutely iconic music, brilliant music. It's well paced. Actors are all very likeable. Everyone did a great job. I'm gonna give it. I'm torn between 8 and 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. It's a 9 clever girls out of 10 for me.
That's what I was thinking. This Saturday, just in there.
I still think there's still some elements. Obviously, like I say, the CGI is totally acceptable now. But at the same time, you know, it makes you wonder, let's be honest, if, like you said, Paul, if Spielberg did what he did with Jaws today, what would it look like? And I have to think that it would look a bit better. So that's why I think it's, I mean, in the film, when it was released in 99, it's 10 out of 10, but I think today, I'm going to give it a 9. What about you, Monkey?
I'm going to give it 9 just on the sheer fact that I've read the book and know what the source material was, and then look at how they've sort of stretched out elements they didn't use from the book in the sequel and the ones. It's one of the bigger. I mean, I'm glad I lived through this. This is kind of something I lived through because I mean, I wasn't alive when Jaws came out, but obviously people talk about that phenomenon. I witnessed the phenomenon of this. I was too young to remember the phenomenon of E.T., so this was one where it was a big event. And as I said, I've seen it 7 times at the pictures, and the 6 of them were original go-rounds because like everyone was going to see it because everyone was talking about it before the internet. I think everyone's brilliantly cast. There is some people who went on to do bigger things. Again, there are some terrifying creatures. And it's a great hybrid. I think, if anything, it's a passing of the torch as well. It's a passing of the torch between, you know, like old school imagery and CGI and where CGI would go. And it would be the benchmark. It would change. It would absolutely change it. It was the game changer. But I think what's even more impressive about it is Steven Spielberg also made Schindler's List the same year. And that's just, to me, unbelievable that he was able to do that. So, on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, are we going to do the other 2 eventually in this lockdown? Or is our next one Tremors, finally?
You can call it lockdown.
Jurassic Lockdown.
Jurassic Lockdown. Lockdown the 3rd.
Well, obviously, you know, my standpoint, I love all those films, and I hope they'll do all of them, but as far as which one's next, I'm happy to go with the Jurassic Park trend, or we could bounce back and forth I mean, it all depends on how you find easier to edit, Mason. So
Yeah, whatever. Just get up the sky like Batman does.
yeah.
Well, Batman, the original 4 Batmans, there's something we could look at as well while we're in this lockdown as this trilogy, because we don't know how long we're in for, so...
Yeah. I just said saying late the sky, like, this is going to be what you want.
I didn't understand a word of that. We'll try and get Big Dave for Transformers. Right, for now, this has been the Epic Jurassic Park podcast. I've been joined by Paul Ray, the movie pop guy, the movie podcast guy, and the one and only Carl McSorley. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.